Power up.
One minute to air.
Okay, people, you know the drill. Let's get the show on the road.
Arena ready.
50 seconds to air.
Announcers.
Tony and Bobby, go.
We're live and on the air with all the
Okay,
superstars.
kill it.
40 seconds to air.
All right, let's fill this place.
We're going hot on the platform. 3, 2, 1.
30 seconds to air.
Give me a body.
Building frame, go.
Make him 6'5". I want a monster.
You got it.
All right, people, let's make him presentable.
Give me muscle structure 12 and texture set 7.
20 seconds to air.
Okay, let's give him some personality. Give me a 95 aggressiveness and get ready to animate.
You know the system's only rated.
Damn it, just do it. You hear that crowd? They want a piece, and I'm gonna give them one.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, golly. We're on camera. No! Anyways. What kind of fucking intro is that? It is... What is it's Wednesday? Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna look down over here. There we go. It is Wednesday, May 31st. I knew it was May 31st. It is May 31st, 2023. Day 31, the final day of month of Mayhem. I think that's actually the first time in this entire month that I've actually played stuff from WCW Mayhem. That last part was the intro to the game, and I forgot how ridiculous that is. And how long it is, too. I thought it was like, is this part of the music? Oh no, I remember them queuing all that stuff up, and then I clicked over. I'm like, oh no, that's an FMV. Oh yeah, I remember this because they basically make Bill Goldberg, and they're like, make him a 95. He's out of control. Oh no. And then he just runs out of there and turns into a real person instead of being a shitty CG character model. And the rest of the intro is just like picture-in-picture stuff from WCW broadcasts around that time, including Goldberg getting hit with a cattle prod by Scott Hall, and that was right around the time he had the job to Kevin Nash and drop the title to him. I believe that might have been when they broke the streak finally too. Kevin Nash of all people, sure. Have a little bit of coffee there. Yes, day 31. We have done now. Look around over here. I'm literally I'm so not used to looking at a camera right now because like I'll this would be me looking at the screen, talking, looking anywhere else. You know, if I was playing something, my TV would be on over here. And I would just be looking around anywhere else. Why? Because you don't have to worry about it. When you're doing audio recording and you're not having to worry about a camera, kind of makes things ever so slightly easier. And you also don't have to worry about looking like an idiot if you decide to do a crazy voice, you know. Although it is fun looking at people when you see people doing voice acting, either they're professional voice actors who do that all the time, or even just standard actors if they're going to be doing a voice role. Because I imagine going into that role, they're probably having a bit of a hard time adjusting to that method of acting. I don't want to call method actors. I think method actors are assholes generally. But it is different because you're not playing to somebody else in front of you. You don't have other shit around you. You're in a sound booth. You have the script. You're going to be getting directions. A good voice director is going to be able to kind of get you into that space. I imagine it's a pretty hard thing to get into. Anyway, that's off topic. Yeah. 31 days. We're here. It's the end of month of Mayhem, and I wanted to I have plans later on this evening as I'm recording, so I'm trying to get my stream done now. Otherwise, I'm not going to be home till, probably like after 10 o'clock, and most people I know will be wrapping their evening up at that point. They'll be going to bed. They have to go to work in the mornings, or they're going to be in different time zones. They're not going to be able to tune in. So, and Darkstar, welcome in. You're not going to notice during this stream that I have on-screen chat because I do plan on kind of editing around it. Yeah, I was about to say, it's like I figured you were going to be at work. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, but yeah, here we are. We are at 31 days. We have finished month of Mayhem. Getting the stream done earlier in the day. If you're watching this later as an edited thing, it started out as a stream. Obviously, it's cropped around here because I record my shit in my room. Like, you don't want to see the rest of the room, and I don't have like any way of being able to decently blur the background out. So it is whatever. Like this is my living space. What do you want me to do? Hopefully, I can look at the camera the whole time too, right? So we'll go back and forth. That's just how I work. 31 days. We have, with some caveats, hit all of the goals that I was looking to achieve in the month of May. That's why it's called the month of Mayhem. I had 4 different things on the docket for that. 2 personal goals, 2 work-related goals. Work-related not being related to the job I currently have, because I actually am, as of this recording, still unemployed. So the work I'm doing is the stuff I work on here at home. Either it's Twitch streaming, it's doing stuff for YouTube, whatever else I want to take care of. For a rundown on that was for the 2 work-related goals. It was daily live streams on Twitch. Actually, daily live streams on Twitch at least an hour, and uploading a short to YouTube every single day, or having at least one ready to go, because you can schedule those. You can either from your phone or from YouTube Studio on a web browser. You can set those up, and you can do a whole week's worth if you want to. Just make a whole bunch of them, upload them, do all your metadata for it, set them up to go live at a specific time on that day, and you're ready to go. The 2 personal goals were daily workouts of at least 15 minutes. If you can do, I could do more, but at least 15 minutes. And reducing, well, the original goal was completely cutting out alcohol consumption for 31 days, just completely across the board, especially more related to drinking here at home. And I will go over that as we go into doing those. I might actually start with the personal goals first, and then get up to the professional ones. So the first goal was, as I mentioned, 15-minute workouts at least every single day. And that started from, and really the two personal goals started more or less from the same area. I, over the last, I'd say, year, have kind of slowed down. I'm still doing stuff a few times a week as far as workouts are concerned. I still go for walks unless it's way too hot. We're approaching summer here in the US, obviously, as we're going into June. July and August are going to be exceptionally hot. It's not going to be very much fun. So I do what I can. Compared to 2020 and 2021, I have definitely slowed down because I've just kind of hit a wall in what I have been doing. Like I did Ring Fit for a long time. I started that at the end of 2019 and carried that through 2020 and additionally through 2021. Like I kind of got a little bored with that over time until I started getting into the separate playthroughs. The second playthrough of that was, it took a long time. It started to get boring. The third playthrough, thankfully, added a lot of customization to how you wanted to play it. Like usually you were stuck to, if you want to do the most damage against your enemies as you're doing, battles, it is an RPG, you need to have certain moves. And it's like, okay, well, this one can target 3 enemies, this can target 5, this is a single target. But certain moves become kind of useless because they don't do enough damage unless you really wanted to push yourself. And that doesn't really make any sense because you can adjust the difficulty level of how you want to do things. You want it really hard, you can tell the game, hey, make it a little bit harder. I think for the most part, I don't know if it affects enemy HP, but it will have you do more reps, which means at that point, if you're doing more reps, it's automatically going to be harder. The third playthrough, thankfully, just says, nuts to that. Every move, all of them do, if it's a single target, it does this amount of damage. All of them do that. Triple target, 5 target, all do this level of damage. At that point, you can customize whatever you want to do. You can do what you want, which made it a little bit easier to get through. And thankfully, with those subsequent playthroughs, you don't have to do anywhere near as much. There's no side quest to do or anything like that. You just play through the stages again. But by the end of it, I had played through the game 3 times. I had, so I was like, I couldn't really do it for much longer. I still do it every once in a while, but I've kind of run out of it. And at this point, I've been doing it for over 3 years. It'll be 4 years this winter. And by that point, I don't imagine I'm doing it more than once a month just for funsies. I tried doing Knockout Home Fitness on Switch, and it's okay. It's a little frustrating because it doesn't read movements quite as well, and it's all kickboxing workouts. So if it's not reading your punches or your hooks or your uppercuts or knees or anything like that, it's very dependent upon the Joy-Cons, even for detecting stuff like knees, because it's kind of asking you to bring your hands down to your sides, down over here as you're throwing. Like if you're throwing a right knee, both your hands are coming down sharply at the same time as you're throwing the knee to your hips. And if it's not detecting it, you're doing it fast enough, it may not give you full credit on it, which is bullshit because I'm throwing those knees pretty sharply. I want to make sure I get the most out of it. So I was doing that. I do little things here and there with resistance bands, and even if it's just like, hey, let's do some running in place. Let's do a bunch of reps on resistance bands. Let's throw those in there and do some squats. Let's do some crunches. Just trying to do it, but yeah, gradually declining on that a little bit and tapering off because I've done the bulk of the work. I'm really more in, I don't want to gain this weight back mode, and it's a maintenance mode. And I've been pretty good about that, but I was definitely declining up until like the beginning of this year. I was doing some stuff in January. Then I went to Japan. Being in Japan and being in somebody else's house or their apartment, especially in the apartment where there's somebody below you, you really can't get a lot of working out done, especially if I'm going to be doing something where it's going to be me moving around, leaving my feet once in a while. Like I imagine even in a nice apartment, people below you are still going to know like, hey man, I'm going to do fucking, 10, 20 burpees. Not that I can do those very well, but if I start doing those, like that requires you to, get down into a squat, pop your feet back out like you're in a plank position, pop those back forward, stand up, and sometimes do a jump. Sometimes you don't have to, Depends upon, hey, do I want to throw that in there for bring the heart rate up? So working out was not going to be an issue, or was not going to be a thing I could really do. Anything else is not an issue, I should say. And I went for walks a lot. I think for the whole trip, it was like 7.07 miles on average every day for 6 weeks. I did a stupendous amount of walking. So it's not like, and even though I was eating more than I normally would on a daily basis, I was also generally coming in under what I needed to hit. Like, my daily calorie goal right now, I believe, and it's been that way for a little while, is about 1,920 calories, 1,920 or 930, roughly thereabouts. So as long as I come in where I still have a surplus of calories, like, hey, if 1,900, let's just round it, 1,900 is my goal and I eat 2,300, but I burn off, 600 of that, there's still at least a surplus there at the end of the day. I haven't gone over that. And I was pretty good about that. And then I came home and I was jet lagged for 2 weeks up until the end of March into the beginning of April. And that's on top of dealing with post-trip blues, which I always get. Doesn't matter where I go. I've been holding my coffee here for a little while. There we go. But I was, dealing with that, and I always deal with it, even when I travel domestically. It's just a thing where I come back and I'm like, I'm back home. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do, especially when you're working too. Like, I've had that where you get away from work, you get away from all the stuff, and then you come back and you go, I got to go back to that. Oh, all right. And then you just kind of come out of that funk and you're good. I figured this was going to last at least a little while. It was starting to set in a little bit as I was leaving. And it's just kind of like, all right, well, we'll handle it. But I was dealing with other stuff at the same time, trying to find work, trying to handle some other emotions, some other things that were really just kind of sticking onto my mind. So it was just dragging me down. And I wasn't getting it. I went for some walks here and there, but definitely not a lot. And there was definitely a lot of days where to close out the rings on my watch, off right now. To close out the rings for that, I was setting them kind of low, and then, hey, what's a way to close your exercise ring? Set it to fitness gaming and just twirl your wrist until it finally does that. Yes. Yeah, I've done it in the past on days where I just wanted to close it and just get it out of the way when I was really concerned about keeping that streak going. I'm not as concerned anymore. Sometimes it's okay to just take a day off, don't worry about it. Those streaks they're superficial. It's nice to hit them. It's nice to have things going on, but it's not that important. It's a watch, right? So I was doing a lot of that, and just I wasn't overeating or anything, but I wasn't getting a lot done. So I said, okay, we can't keep doing this. We need to give ourselves, we're already figuring out other ways to keep ourselves occupied, not trying to escape our emotions, but we're also trying to, at the very least, give ourselves some form of structure. And that's something that I know I need generally in order to keep myself motivated. I need some sense of structure. I need something going on, because if I wake up and I don't have anything to do, I am more than likely going to waste the day. And that makes me feel even worse later on when I go, well, what'd you do today? Nothing. Well, why didn't you? I don't know. It's just, it just compounds. And I already deal all the time with negative thoughts hitting me, especially at bedtime, where it can be really bad, and it's pervasive. And, having that at any point is bad. Having that at bedtime is much worse. Having that still going on when you go to sleep doesn't help you, and you don't wake up the next day feeling all that great. So I knew it's like, okay, we have to create this structure. Let's give ourselves some goals to reach, and give ourselves some things, because this has been a really bad month and we haven't been doing very well. April was not great. So I said, okay, 15-minute workouts. Let's get back to it. It doesn't have to be here at home. It doesn't have to be Ring Fit all the time. It doesn't have to be Knockout Home Fitness all the time. I was going to get the Fist of the North Star fitness boxing game. I had ordered it, And then they said that the Asian release was not going to be physical. So like, and I didn't get it in Japan because it wasn't in English. So it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to spend money on something where I'm going to have to kind of, think about it too much as I'm playing it to understand, what I'm doing. So I was hoping to have that in there. That's not the case. So I just utilized what I had. It's like, hey, you can do these things if you're just going to go for a walk. If it's 15 minutes of doing some reps with the bands and running in place and doing some crunches and everything else and doing a little bit of cool down stretching there, as long as it was 15 minutes, we'll be good. We'll be solid. And yeah, it's been a mixture of some of those sessions, Ring Fit sessions. I had a ongoing, it's done now, but I had an ongoing free trial of Apple Fitness Plus. I did a couple of HIIT workouts during there and realized very quickly I don't have the space for that shit. I have very limited space here to work with in my room, and then trying to do it out in the living room, it's usually being occupied and used. I don't want to do it out there. I feel more comfortable working out in a private space. And unfortunately, I don't have the room. You can't do burpees in here. It's really fucking hard. But kickboxing workouts kind of work out. You don't need quite as much space as long as you got a little bit on each side and stuff in front of you and behind you, and you're mindful of where you're at, you can get it done. So I was doing stuff on there as well. The kickboxing workouts I actually really liked. I like the instructors that they are using there. And then doing a lot of walking. Like I got to walk. If I combine getting there and coming back, as well as any other steps that are there, I can log over a little bit over 5 miles just having to go to the store, because the nearest grocery store is not close to me. Like a lot of things here in the US, it's just kind of spread out. Whereas, while I was in Japan, it was not even a half mile to get to the nearest store or convenience store to get provisions. And here it takes a little while longer. So, it is what it is. Sorry, didn't do a long right there. So that was the first goal. And other than one day, and that was May 24th, where I had gotten basically no sleep. I went to bed late, got woken up by one of the roommates leaving early in the morning to go to work, and I just couldn't go back to sleep. I knew at that point, I was like, I'm going to have a really hard time, even if I take pre-workout or something to just kind of give me more energy. I'm not going to be able to do this correctly and safely for much of anything. And really, and also just get the energy together. It's like, you don't want to work out when you're tired, obviously. I said, what can I do that the watch will recognize as workout minutes that will still get my body moving, but it's something where it's like, okay, maybe this will also, kind of get some stretching done, anything else, and maybe it'll let me go back to sleep and get, at least something done on that. And then maybe later I'll, do another like 10 minutes or so of an actual workout. Pardon me. It didn't work out that way, but I did mindfulness cool downs, which is generally, stretching, as well as finishing that up with, either sitting down in like a cross-legged position or, kind of just kneeling and doing that. Just realized I was out of place there. Just a little bit off to the side, but doing that, or standing in place and just, doing a mindfulness session, essentially, letting yourself calm down a little bit, clearing your mind out a little bit, following your breathing. At least one of them I remember doing that was a part of a different workout was visualization of putting yourself in a place. It actually made me feel worse because I was thinking about my buddy's neighborhood in Atsuki, and I managed to actually get like a really good mental projection of it. And I was like, damn, I actually feel really terrible now because like I want to be there and I can't be. But in other words, usually if you're just following breathing, it just kind of empties your mind out. It helps you out a little bit. So that day, the 24th, was the one day where I logged 16 minutes where it wasn't really a real workout as far as I'm concerned, but it was good enough. It was at least being able to get something done. And I knew, don't try to do a regular workout. Don't go for a walk. It's, it's either going to be too warm or, it just made more sense to do something that would hopefully also help me out. So other than that, And even with that in mind and having it still count as a workout in the context of how I track these things, that part was a complete success. I don't think I don't need to be sad about that. I don't need to be judgmental about that one day. Like that part of it worked out. The second personal thing that I was doing was related to alcohol consumption. I don't drink a lot anyways. It's just I don't have a lot here at the house. I only go out so many times in any given month. And I just, when I go out, I might have a few beers. If I'm at home, if I don't have anything here, I don't drink it. I don't even really buy stuff that often. For the most part, any of the beer because I don't buy a lot of hard alcohol either. But any of the beer I usually have in the house is being given to me by somebody else to be like, oh, hey, this is something you might like. Try it out. And I would keep it, and usually I would, drink it. And that's kind of it. Even leading up to the trip, I was not drinking a whole lot either. And then while I was there, that's where things kind of picked up. Not by a ton, but it was like a daily thing where I was having at least one. Because when you're in a foreign country and you run into a lot of things you want to try, it's like, well, shit. As long as I don't overdo it, I can try all kinds of things. And when you get there, there is a lot of alcohol that you will not find here in the States. You'll maybe find it in some particular form, but there's a lot of brands that just, they don't do business here in that way. Just really weird. Companies like Suntory don't sell their beer or sell some of their other stuff. Like they don't even still sell strong zeros here, which is kind of strange. I feel like you could get away with that. It might cause problems though, because they're a little dangerous. But I was having something, like I would buy something from Combini, or there was a Mega Don Quixote near me that had a whole bunch of stuff, and I would be like, oh yeah, I'll have dinner, I'll have a beer, or I'll have a Chuhai or something, or lemon sour, gin and soda. One thing to try out during the course of that, and there was maybe 2 or 3 times where I knew I went out and I got relatively loaded. Nothing crazy, no blackout drunk, no belligerent drunk, still being very, very mindful of where I'm at and what I'm doing, but also clearly just, a couple sheets to the wind. One of them was Tokyo Station. I went to a Suntory bar where they had a couple of varieties of premium malts that I hadn't tried, and they had them on draft, so I went there. And then I was like, well, can't catch a train from Tokyo Station, so that's the closest one. Hitachi no Nest had a place right in the station. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna hold up here for a little while. I have a taster set here and we'll be good. And then even then I was like, yeah, it's still too busy. So I just walked to Yurakucho Station and hung out there for a little bit. Didn't have anything more to drink because I'm good. I think I'm okay. Another part was hanging out with Kinkoki, Martina. We went to I was gonna say Hamamatsucho. No, that's where Devilcraft is. And Devilcraft is at. And I need more. Put on more. Give me a second. Cut around this. My nose itches too. It's a bad part about being on camera. It's like usually I don't have to worry about that. I don't know why my lips are. I don't know why my lips are so dry, but it's a desert. What do you expect? Yeah, me and King Kogi hung out for a few hours. I was going to say Hamamatsucho again. We were at Nakameguro, and we had made plans while I was there. I hit them up and said, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And they're like, "Yep." We made plans for the end of February, and we hung out for about 5 or almost 6 hours, and we had a good number of beers. We had some drinks and had a great conversation and had some bar food. And I was definitely pretty tipsy at that point. Other times where it was like a couple of beers, but it's like I hadn't eaten much that day and it was pretty good. And some of the stuff hits me a little bit harder. Like I tend to not have the tolerance that I used to back in the day. So yeah, nothing too crazy on that, but definitely doing a bit of drinking more often than I normally do. And then I got back here and I don't remember having a whole lot. I didn't really have anything in the fridge, but I remember being given some stuff and then being given even more stuff. I was given a fucking like a thing of like, I want to say, "God, my nose itches. Probably I was given probably about like 18 beers roughly, where it's like, here's a bunch of stuff I picked up on a road trip, or here's stuff that's in my fridge because it's, you know, from a person who has way too much beer for some reason that they are waiting to drink with other people, and it's like, you should just stop buying beer, but I'm being judgmental, sorry. They gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and being in the state that I was, same exact state that was affecting, you know, me being able to work out and being motivated to do so, having alcohol on hand, it started to feel like it was becoming a bit of a crutch. Like I wasn't over drinking, but I went through those beers, which would normally take me quite a bit longer. Like I went through them pretty quickly. And by the end of April, I was like, okay, we can't do this. My family has a history of alcohol abuse and substance abuse. It's not affected me. I've thankfully been the only one that really kind of has dodged that bullet, and I don't know how. But I also know that given I've kind of inherited other things, certainly with behavioral issues that I would love to get taken care of, but it's kind of hard to do so in the current climate the U.S. healthcare system has, as well as not having health insurance. You know, I have behavioral issues and I have mental health issues that I'm very aware of, and I try to deal with as best I can, but they're there. And I know I've gotten those, like both sides of my family deal with those. And having those substance and alcohol abuse issues there, it made me think, and it stopped me in my tracks pretty hard. And I was just like, okay, we need to curb this and cut back, if not completely cut out. And that became the second personal goal. Let's just not drink at home. Let's just cut it out for the entire month of May. Don't touch it. My original goal completely was completely sober, no alcohol at all for 31 days, whether you go out, whether you're at home. I did compromise on that a little bit last minute, where I knew, okay, I don't go out that often, and I know I'm going to be going out at least a couple of times for movies or something else during the month of May. So I said, okay, you can have something when you go out. Keep it fucking cool, you know, don't overdo it. But you can have that, but don't have it at home. So that I'm a little disappointed in, because I'm pretty sure I could have gotten away with literally no alcohol for the whole month. I was still pretty good. And yeah, when I went out, pardon me. Yeah, it's starting to get cold. When I went out, I kept myself to one alcoholic beverage, anywhere we went. And usually it was only one place. And I was like, and I knew if we had gone, like I went a couple of times to, you know, craft breweries that are around here. And I was like, okay, if we go to a different one, I'm either going to have to put the kibosh on that, or I'm going to have to abstain at that point. I never had to get to that point. And generally it's like, okay, we went to one place, like I even have it listed. I had beers, only beer, no hard alcohol. The last time I actually had anything at home was probably April 29th. So I've gone over a month on that, which is pretty good. And while I was out, it was May 1st, 16th, 23rd, and 27th. May 1st was, we went to the movies that night. We were seeing Return of the Jedi. So it was back in theaters for its 40th anniversary. We went to North Fifth Brewing, and I had 1 pint. 16th was, May 16th would have been the stop at Craft House. That was a taster set. And those are 4-ounce pours, equaling into about a pint's worth of beer. May 23rd, that would have been going to Lovelady. I had 1 pint there. And then May 27th was me seeing my friend Kayla this past weekend, because today's the 31st, obviously. I saw her on the 27th, her and her husband and a couple of their friends, since they were in town. I had one beer with dinner. We went to BJ's Brew House and had dinner there. I was actually kind of like, am I going to have to compromise on that So I was like, oh, I haven't seen them since their wedding, and that was last October, and I got fucking not completely shit faced, but I got it's a wedding. You're gonna get drunk, especially if you're not paying for booze, you know. I was like, okay, well, we're going bowling. We might have drinks there, and then we're going to dinner, and we might have a couple there, and who knows what we'll do afterwards. No, actually, everybody was really good. Everybody had, one at maximum two. Her husband doesn't drink, so he had none. She only had one. The friends we were with, I think one of them had 2 drinks. It was a cider for both, and the other one had, one cocktail. I had my 1 beer. So actually, it was pretty good. Like I didn't even have to compromise on that at all. So in all, 4 beers total for the entire month. Only while I was out, nothing at home. So I was good on that good on one part. The other part, good on that too, but that was a compromise to what I originally had planned. I would love to go back and redo at least that part in the near future and just abstain completely. Maybe leading up to my birthday, because it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing for my birthday yet. It's my 40th birthday. I'm most likely going to have to do stuff on my own. So, taking myself out and having a good time, but still being, good about things as well. We'll see. But I would like to just give myself that extra challenge and go, no, you don't have any. Doesn't matter where you go. If that means you just don't go out as often because the people, 1 or 2 of the people you want to hang out with only wants to go out to a craft brewery. And it's like, look, dude, you can do that if you want. I'm going to have to abstain with that, but I don't want to sit there watch you fucking drink beer. Just, it is what it is. So that's one that I would love to revisit again. Not in the far future, in the very near future as well, just to give myself a challenge. With the personal goals out of the way, for the professional ones, those were a little bit more straightforward. 31 streams, 31 shorts on YouTube. I don't stream on YouTube. I can't. I have to monetize there, and I'm at like the halfway point for that, and that's going to be, in the future thing. The streams worked out. It was supposed to be at least streaming for 1 hour every day. Because I feel like at 1 hour, that's where Twitch really goes, okay, we're tracking your numbers. Like we can, everything's kind of based on an hourly thing. That didn't quite work out. Mainly because May 9th through the 11th, I had no internet. Like it went out here at the house. The bill was due. The person whose name the bill is in, I think, either isn't paying it anymore because reasons, more stuff that I don't want to get into. So the person who was going to be paying the bill, I'm like, I pay my rent and everything's supposed to be put into that to take care of shit. And so does my other roommate, who ended up being the one to pay the bill. They weren't going to get paid until Thursday, the 11th. So it's kind of like, well, if it's going to go out and this other person's not going to handle it, and the bill itself is like always a month past due. That's been that way since before I moved in here 2 years ago. So it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? It's like, if it's not in your name, you can't do much about it. So that put a wrinkle in my plans, and like I got done with the stream that would have been on the 8th. And then it was that night that the internet went out, and I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's just an outage. We'll go into the 9th and go from there. And then once I realized, no, it's just out. It's not gonna come back until someone pays the bill, and I'm not gonna pay it out of my pocket because I don't know how much it is. And quite honestly, if I'm already paying my rent and my what I pay is supposed to go towards the house as well as the bills, and it's not getting handled, well, fucking that's on you guys. That night, it was like a 15-minute stream. I think it was short enough that even if you look at the list of stuff on Twitch, like, oh, how many days in the past, month, when you, if you check streams on Twitch, usually even if you don't schedule it, if you stream that day, it'll show up and they'll go, oh yeah, this person streamed like 2 days ago. That date doesn't show anything because I think it was short enough that it just, for whatever reason, doesn't register it. It is there. Like if anybody ever wants to call me out on it, I can be like, look, I'll just show you the drop down in the Twitch dashboard and go, look, I have streams for all days. And that one was impromptu because I was like, I don't know what's going on. This is not the best setup. I got to do it from my phone. This is going to suck. People are still up, so there's going to be noise coming in because I can't cancel that out with my phone microphone. But at the very least, I hopped on and got something. Didn't matter. So I was like, all right, maybe we can do an hour. It might only be a half hour because if I got to fucking figure shit out. Like I was planning on playing stuff all month and I had stuff that I could play. And now I can't do it. So the 2 days after that, which would have been, let's see, why does it say the 11th? Did I get those dates right? 9th, 10th, 11th? No, maybe it was the 8th. Maybe it was the 7th. So it would have been the 8th or the 11th. God damn, how do I not remember that? Give me a second. I'll look over here. Because I have those streams. Because that's from the 10th. That's from the 9th. Okay, yeah, it would have been the 8th. My bad. Yeah, 8th through the 11th. So for at least the 3 days afterwards, you know, I did some snack taste tests. And then on the 11th, I just showed off a bunch of the capsule toys. Opened up some ones I hadn't opened yet. Showed off some of the ones that I had already opened and put together. That one was at least almost an hour. And during that stream, that's when I was informed, hey, internet's back on. I'm like, oh, it is. So the next day, business as usual. And it's been that way since then. Some days where I was looking to play games, that didn't happen. I want to say at least one of those streams afterwards. Because some days, like I either went out to go for a walk or I was out anyways. Like it just, I didn't hit what I wanted, but I still hopped on. So I was at least achieving, you know, what I was looking to do for that day. But some streams were just like, oh, you know, this is fucking, some are 4 hours. Some it's like, oh yeah, it's an hour because I don't know what to play right now, or I'm just fucking, I'm sleepy. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I actually had one. I had one from the 29th, day before heading out. 29th. That was, oh, that's when I uploaded it. Sorry. That would have been the one on the 27th. Yeah, that was a shorter stream because I was going out that day. That's when I was seeing my friend Kayla. And then there was one from, I want to say that was that day. Yeah, some of those are just like, they hit the hour mark, but it's like, oh, this isn't where I was going with this stream. But we're still on. We're still going to at least try to hit that hour mark and do it. So, yeah, not 100%. I don't want to give myself shit because some of that stuff was outside of my control, but not quite 100%. However, I did hit 31 days. So as far as I'm concerned, that goal is completed. I did the thing. The YouTube shorts, that was probably not hard enough, if I'm being honest. Because I was putting together stuff on my own. Either that was going to be a reel on Instagram. It could also be, you know, I was like, oh yeah, that can be a short on YouTube, or, you know, I put it up on YouTube first and it went over to Instagram later. I was reusing stuff from older videos, older Twitch clips, making new Twitch clips from stuff on Twitch, because thankfully they have a very easy way of being able to make clips or make clips into YouTube shorts, and you can upload them directly to YouTube and have everything good to go. And all you got to do is just fill out your metadata and you're fine. It was quite nice. And yeah, hitting that every single day, eventually I was just like, okay, I got like 10 days worth of shit ready to go. All I got to do is just fill out the stuff, schedule them out for times, and that's it. It's very hands-off after that point. So I probably should have been like, all right, all of these have to be reels or stories or something on Instagram, and make sure that I'm uploading to those as well. And those I don't think you can schedule. You're going to have to manually go in and go, okay, well, we're going to have to pull that from here and then put it up over here. It would have been one extra step and one extra thing. And actually trying to do both of those. Both of those we'll probably get into like what was hard, you know, was it hard for everything, trying to do it all at once here in a moment. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. And not a lot of them did very well. Some of them early on did pretty well. I feel like anytime I put something up just after midnight that's train related, it does almost 2,000 views, which is not terrific, but it's kind of like it fucking manages to take off. You know, the views drop off almost immediately. But it was kind of fun seeing what would do well, what wouldn't do well. I started doing uploads at different times of the day to see if it hit differently. I feel like with gaming stuff, that just kind of, some of it just didn't go anywhere. It's very strange. And I fucked around with the hashtags that are on there, the upload times. It didn't really seem to matter. I almost wonder if YouTube kind of looks at Twitch shit and just says, yeah, we're going to suppress that a little bit. That could be me taking a conspiratorial thought about it. That doesn't even make any sense saying that. You know what I mean, though. But it is fun. It's a fun little thing to do, and I feel like I got some extra. I finally hit over 500 subs on YouTube. I still need, another 500 or so to actually be able to monetize along with the view hours. So again, that's something that's just off in the distance. But it was fun to see it. It was fun to make them. Interesting to see where views were coming from, how things were doing, and if times made any difference on when you uploaded those. And it made me learn at least a little bit about that. And yeah, it was something to be able to get done. And that one, that was 100% a success. Like, I had no issues hitting that. So that probably could have been a different one, or even I could have had a fifth thing on there. But altogether, having everything every day, it was still a bit difficult. There's more than a few times where that workout, I had to take a little bit more optimum nutrition amino energy to get myself motivated to getting those done. Maybe maybe a week and a half in, I was like, oh my God, I just don't want to do anything today. I want to sleep in. I just want to get up and then just wait to do the show. The streams, especially on days where I went for walks and came back and then took a shower, it's like I wound down so much. I was already tired. I was just like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. And so that could be relatively hard. The abstaining from alcohol here at home, there's a few times where I was like, man, I could really go for a drink just to kind of calm down a little bit and wind down near the end of the day. And there's at least one, I want to say it was either this month, might have been late April, where actually it manifested into, man, I could really go for a cigarette. And I haven't had a cigarette in, over 3 years now. So, and thankfully at that point, the roommate I know that smokes, he didn't have any. He's just like, nope, they're empty. I'm like, that's probably a good sign. Like, you don't smoke here at home really either, so that's good. And if you don't have them, then hey, I don't have to worry about breaking that streak either. But yeah, the workouts and the streams were definitely the hardest thing sometimes to get motivated for. And I feel like having all those things and knowing that I was going to be in for at least an hour. A lot of my streams were like, I'd say on average probably 2.5 to 3 hours. And trying to figure out how to get shorts figured out, either making them through the Twitch dashboard or making them through my phone, however it was going to be, and then having to go through that process. I feel like having all those things every day was very good for me to have that structure, but it also took away from me being able to do other things that I've been meaning to do that I have put off. I have videos that I need to really get started on. And when you have everything else, and especially with my sleep schedule, which is kind of fucked up, I either, wake up before noon or afternoon. Your guess is as good as mine sometimes. I might roll back over and go back to sleep, meaning to only sleep for like another 30, 40 minutes. And it's like, oh shit, that was 2.5 hours. Okay. It was kind of hard to find the time or the motivation to work on other stuff, because it's like, okay, well, I got to get this done. I already got this done. I was on for 4 hours. I did my workout. I got this done. I'm like, I'm just tired. I don't want to do this. So working on that stuff, I had bits and pieces here and there where I was able to kind of get something done, but it was hard to find that motivation. So with all these things starting to come to an end in the month of May, in the month of Mayhem coming to an end, it'll be nice to take a few days off, because I'm definitely like June 1st and 2nd, I don't think I'm doing shit. I don't think I'm working on anything. I'm just going to say, you know what? Let's just hang out and fucking sleep in and do whatever. And it doesn't matter. Just fucking chill. Pardon me. At the very least, on the 3rd, I can get back to doing stuff. And I guess my goal for June, even though it's not going to be like this big thing to make a challenge out of it, my goal in June is to at least get 2 of my videos that I want to edit done. I'd love to get 3 done. We'll see. I got to figure out, I have the footage. I know what I want to do. It's kind of figuring out how to piece it all together. And then I got to, find time to do voiceover work on it and get those together and then get those up, because it's like, I have like 8 videos I got to make. So it would be nice to start get that process rolling and treat it, especially right now as I'm not working still. I need to set aside time and go, okay, when we get up, if we're working on editing today, let's set aside an 8-hour block. Take breaks in there too. Set timers if you need to get up and stretch and eat and do everything else. But like, let's say I don't start till like 2 p.m. I'm like, we're working till 10. We need to fucking, I need to work on these things. And, it's me taking it seriously. I don't necessarily need to, but these are things, part of why I went to Japan. It's like I was going there on vacation, but I was also going there to film stuff that I wanted to put together as videos later on down the road. And we're later on down the road. We're already here. So getting those things worked on and getting them finished up, at this point, it doesn't really matter as much to me whether or not people watch them, because I know my audience is this big. It is what it is. You're only going to get so many people to watch. You're only going to get so many people in there. For me, it's more about making the thing I want to fucking make. So taking it seriously enough to at least get those things created, that's what I want to do. I'm already mentally thinking ahead, like, okay, well, when I get them done, what do I do there? But that's the perfectionist and the person inside me that's never quite satisfied, in a negative way. Like, not being satisfied and not stopping. Like, sometimes that can be a great motivating factor. Like, you're always looking towards the next thing to do because you're always excited about the next thing. For me, I just have a really hard time celebrating when I've accomplished something. Like, even now, I was thinking midway through the month, okay, if I accomplish everything I needed to do for May that I set for myself, am I going to celebrate it well enough, or am I just going to fucking brush it aside and go, okay, well, you already did it. So what? What are you going to do now? What's next? And I've had to struggle with that. And I'm still struggling with that to a degree. I don't want to. It's a bad way of thinking. It's a bad train of thought. It's okay to be looking towards what would you like to do next, but don't let that get in the way of stopping and celebrating what you've done. Like, even if these goals are not necessarily big goals, consistency is the hard part about it. Trying to be as consistent. Yeah. As I mentioned with the streams, like, I wasn't as consistent about it as I would have liked because there were factors that prevented me from doing that. Stuff that was a bit outside of my control. Like, I could have fucking, harassed my roommates and be like, fucking pay the bill. But like, I said, okay, we're going to deal with the hand that we were dealt. We have another way of being able to do this. We're just going to have to work around it, and that's going to be it. So, it's okay. You can do that. It's fine. With the no drinking part, I was successful with one half. I compromised a little bit on the other part because it was like, well, I don't go out. Maybe that's fine too. Like, I was still successful in being very moderate. Probably not even moderate. It was like, I fucking was good, and it was fine. Everything else, I managed to do it. Like, with the workouts, I had one workout on one day. I still managed to log minutes that my watch would recognize. I hit the fucking time goal that I was looking for. It wasn't quite what I wanted to do, but I did it. It's okay. I don't have to be perfect at everything. And yeah, I should obviously celebrate this a little bit. I'm going to the movies tonight. I'm going to see Shin Kamen Rider. It's not really my celebration, but tomorrow, yeah, I have a few beers on hand. I'm gonna have a fucking beer. I've deserved it. Well, yeah, I have. I've deserved it since I started, which is okay. Like I said, drinking at home in moderation and being good. That's one thing I didn't mention. It's like, I have one roommate that doesn't drink at home at all because they don't like to, and I have one technically that I wish I could help them because I think they do it too often. They're not mean. They're not a bad person. I think they do it as a coping mechanism for things that I don't understand and I don't know about. I probably shouldn't even be sharing that much, but I'm not sharing a whole lot. I'm concerned about him for that. And, knowing my own history and knowing that and seeing the identifying factors around here where I live with two people that are, I think, talented at being funny and they could do lots of things, but their lives have not gone as well, I think, as they have hoped. And, it manifests in a lot of different ways. And for somebody like me, where it's like, I'm not where I'm at in my life where I would like to be. And I'm not hitting I'm not hitting the things or doing the things I would love to be doing. I see where I fit into that picture. I see two other people that are, shades of me. And I see where kind of they're at in their lives. And I don't want to hit that point. Like it's a daily challenge, to see some of those things and have to deal with it, where it's just like, yeah, you guys don't take as good of care of yourselves. I could take better care of myself, but I try to at least put something into it, and I'm beset on all sides by these, these various factors. And even if you don't believe in empathy, I don't believe it in like a supernatural sense. I think the body empathizes with people around them. It figures out ways of being able to put you in a headspace where you can kind of understand with it. But it's like, you're seeing people that, some struggle more than others, but clearly they are, shadows of who they were. And that weighs on me quite a bit. And I'm looking at all these challenges around me, and, I have to kind of get past that. And then I set goals for myself and I hit them. I'm rambling now, aren't I? I set goals for myself and I hit them, and then I don't celebrate them. It's a bad combination. So yeah, at the very least, I need to be okay with having that thing as a celebration tomorrow, and also tell myself, hey man, you did it. You hit your goals. You are successful. They're not big goals, they're not important goals, but they're goals you set for yourself, and you looked them dead in the eye and you said, let's go. And you did it. You did it. I'm talking to myself right now. You did it. And that's what's fucking important. You did the thing. And you should be proud of yourself about it. I'm going to talk to you guys out there too. You set a goal. Did you have a goal this month? Did you do a thing? Did you accomplish it? Because if you did, good job. I mean that. You set a goal for yourself, and a healthy goal, and you achieve it. Goddamn, you did it. If it's an ongoing thing, but you accomplished it today and you accomplished it yesterday as well as tomorrow, you did it. Good. I'm glad. I really am. So, yeah, we did it. I've always wondered about the name, though, because it makes it sound like, Month of Mayhem, fucking, we're doing all kinds of things. No, it's just, I called it Month of Mayhem because it was just a lot of things to put on my plate, specifically to kind of keep myself doing positive things on a daily basis and having structure. And, I still struggled day to day. And some days were really bad. Some days were much, much better. But I accomplished those. Even on the bad days, I still accomplished those things. So, yeah. What does the near future look like? I don't know. Obviously, as I said, I'm taking time off. Not a lot, like a couple days. I will be still streaming here on YouTube. On YouTube, one day. Maybe when I can get a better deal and I could do that there. Obviously, I can't co-stream onto YouTube. Twitch won't allow that. I'm an affiliate. But obviously, I'll still be doing stuff here on Twitch. We're still playing East 9. We're gonna try to get through that. We're still gonna play stuff through June. My goal for right now is just to try to figure out, okay, what's a good set of consistent days that I can hop on where I know, okay, that day I'm streaming, so 4 or 5 hours, we know that's our thing. And then on those days, we just don't do editing work. And on every other day, it's like, let's set aside this much time to edit and keep working on things. We'll see. It's right there. Like having that structure is still helpful. So that could be a new goal. I don't have to make a big deal about it. Anyways, we are at the hour mark. I leave for the movies in about an hour, so I need to continue getting ready. I got to take all this stuff down. I have lights up. Although my light over here, that kind of just stays where it is. I had to set up another light. Hopefully it looks okay. Like I turned off a whole bunch of shit. Like I don't have the autofocus on. I don't have the low light compensation. I think I adjusted the gain manually. And I turned on the lights. There's a lot of lights in here. I still think it looks kind of dark, but hopefully it's not quite as grainy as it looks. Sometimes it looks really bad. Really bad. But yeah, at least for the next couple of days, like I'm going to take a break and I'll at least post the beer that I'm going to have over on Instagram or something. I actually need to make a post for there celebrating hitting our goals for the end of the month. Or for the entire month and being here and doing the thing, man. We did it. we fucking did it. So let's be happy for what we did, and let's try to carry that motivation and carry that good feeling. I was trying to do that when I got back from Japan, and that wasn't happening, but you know, it is what it is. I don't have to, can't beat myself up. Can't beat yourself up for stuff that's already gone down. Just, you know, accept that it was tough and move on from there. It's difficult at times, but you know, life is pretty difficult. But always remember that when you have positive outcomes and you have things that you've accomplished, make sure to celebrate those. Don't always go out there. It's like if you got to give out in public, or you know, public being more like, you know, your social media accounts, that's fine too, but make sure that you're always there to show people the other side as well. Show the bad side, show the good side. It's okay. It's okay, and make sure that, you know, with those good things that you're patting yourself. Barry Darso. Barry Darso is a different guy. I'm thinking of Barry Horowitz. And pat yourself on the back and celebrate those things. Carry that through. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point. So we're going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you had at least a little bit of fun. For anybody who saw it live here, for anybody that sees it in the VOD. Thank you very much, N Darkstar over there. Grats for making it through the month, and thanks for the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciated for the support that you and everybody else gives. And we'll see you guys in a couple of days. See you on Saturday. I know weekends are a little weird for you because you got stuff going on. At some point, we'll see each other again and hang out. We're going to have to figure that out a different way. Anyways, yeah, that's it for me. Stay safe, stay well. Watch out for weirdos out there. We'll see you guys again in a couple of days. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and hopefully the rest of the week goes well for you. See you all next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, Duke. Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.
Never give up.